In today's video, I'm going to be discussing $15,060, $20,440, and why you'll want to remember these if you're low income in 2024. I have all those details for you here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. All right, now first off, let me clarify really quickly. When I say low income, this encompasses about 100 million people right now across the entire country. It's a lot of people, right? Nearly a third of our population. But when I say low income, this could pertain to earned income from a job, or it could be income from fixed income benefits, like I often talk about here on the channel, like Social Security, retirement, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, VA, RRB, the list goes on, right? So remember, income is income. It doesn't matter what the source is, but if your income is at or around these two levels that I just gave, $15,060 or $20,440 right now in 2024, you probably want to pay attention to this, and I'm going to give you all the details and why these figures are so incredibly important right now. So with that being said, let's get into it, and I'll share with you exactly what you need to know about it. However, really fast before we do, can I ask a huge favor of you? If you've not done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, first off, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. Truly do appreciate your support. Will you make sure to join the other nearly 500,000 people here on the channel, and make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button right down below the video. It is totally free to do so. I'm here for you every single day, watching the headlines, doing the research, advocating on your behalf, answering questions, doing whatever I possibly can right now, and pointing out anything right now you can possibly grab or take advantage of as a low income or fixed income person. And again, I'm just doing what I can for you right now. I know it's tough out there. I totally get it. I see the comments. I hear the stories. We're all living it. Yeah, we're here together. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to join the community by joining the other nearly 500,000 people here on the channel. Subscribe down below. And again, I'm here for you every single day. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. Let's talk through the details about this. All right. So these two figures that I want to give you right now, these are very, very important. In fact, they're vitally important depending on where you are across the country, where your income is, all these different details like this. But these are the thresholds. Now, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, you know that these two numbers that I'm giving you right now are incredibly important. Why? Because these predicate your eligibility for a lot of programs, okay? Now, here's the thing. All of these programs that are going on across the entire country, in fact, right now, believe it or not, you probably wouldn't believe this, over 100 different programs are out there right now that are focused on low income. All kinds of programs. I mean, like you name it, there's assistance programs for the low income. It's nuts, the different programs that are out there. In fact, a quick little side note, if I digress here for a second, there's actually been talk out there about eliminating all the programs, all the different federal programs, completely getting rid of all of them and replacing them with just a one-time monthly stipend. In other words, a one-time cash payment to the low income instead. In my opinion, really quickly here, I think that is a really, really good idea, okay? Scrap all the programs, replace it with just a monthly check for everybody, and then there you go. You can just do what you want with it rather than jumping through all these hoops, hoop after hoop after hoop for eligibility and things like that. But anyway, I can talk about all that in a separate video. Very interesting concept, but sorry, again, I digressed for a minute there. All right, so here's the detail about it. These are very important thresholds. Reason being is, as a low-income person, to determine your eligibility for all of these different low-income benefit programs, what do they need to do? They need to look at your income every single time, right? They look at your income and say, where is your income as a percentage of the federal poverty line? Well, guess what these numbers are that I'm giving you? Yep, you called it the federal poverty line, okay? So let me explain really quickly and why these are so incredibly important. Number one, $15,060. This is the federal poverty line right now in 2024 for a household of one individual. So if you are a household of just one person, okay, then this is the federal poverty line for a household of one, okay? $15,060 is what that translates into across the entire year. By the way, that calculates out to $1,255 a month is what that calculates out to for a household of one, okay? Now, that is a household of one. A household of two is $20,440. That is the federal poverty line for a household of two. Now, what does that calculate out to on a monthly basis? Good question. I don't know. I didn't run the math on it. Do you want me to ask my phone really quickly? I will. I have my phone sitting right here. Let me ask my phone really quick because honestly, I didn't run the math. I don't really know what that is. I should have done it. I apologize, but I will do it right now for you. 20,440 divided by 12.
20,440 divided by 12 is approximately 1,703.333.
Okay, so there you go. All right, let's turn this off for a minute. Okay, Don't talk. Okay, so it's $1,703 a month. Okay, so there you go. That is the federal poverty line on a monthly basis for a household of 2 individuals. $1,703 according to my phone. I hope the math is correct, right? So anyway, these are the numbers you need to think about. Now, here's what else is interesting about this. Okay. You would think a household of 1 is $15,060. You would think a household of 2 would be doubled at $30,120, right? You would think that, but that's not the case here, right? You can see here when we go from 1 individual and household, it only goes up by, what is the math on that? $5,380. That's all the more that it increases from the federal poverty line. From a household of 1 to a household of 2, it increases by $5,380 from $15,060 up to $20,440. Weird how that works, right? You would think it would just be doubled for every person. For every person that adds the household, you would just think you would just add another $15,060 to it, right? But unfortunately, that is not how the federal poverty line works, okay? And remember, there's been a bunch of different changes here as of recently, but what it comes down to is to be eligible for all of these different assistance programs. And again, I could rattle off, I don't know, a bunch of them right now if you wanted me to. But to be eligible for these, your income either needs to be at usually 100% or less of the federal poverty line, or in some instances, sometimes they do 125%, 135%, 150%. Some instances, they do 200% of the federal poverty line. That's not as common. It's usually anywhere between, say, 150% or below the federal poverty line is what makes somebody eligible for a lot of these programs. And let me just say a few of the programs right now, okay? I've talked about all these before in other videos, but let me just say a few of them really quickly, okay? Number 1, a big one, SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's one of them. WIC, Women, Infant, Children. That's another one that's out there. Other programs include like the LIHEAP, Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHWAP, Low Income Home Water Assistance Program. That's another one. The ACP, remember that one? Yeah, that one's gone by now. The Affordability Connectivity Program that offered the free internet. Again, unfortunately, that is gone. But that one was also included in this. Other programs include the WAP, Weatherization Assistance Program. And, okay, there's TANF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. Again, I could just sit here and keep going on. I would have to think a little bit more, but yeah, there's plenty more. I've talked about many of them. Oh, the Commodity Supplemental Food Program. That one also, what is that, CSFP? That's a program for seniors who are, I think, 60 or 65 or older to get some food items. Again, there's a list that goes on and on. It's all predicated on the federal poverty line. Believe it or not, it's always based on federal poverty line. Eligibility for any of these programs, they always look at, hey, what's your income? And we're going to use that as a function of the federal poverty line, okay? So that's why these numbers are so important. Now, again, also as well, like Medicaid, things like this as well, okay? So they look at that for Medicaid. Yeah, again, there's a bunch of them out there, tons of them. I could sit here and, think of a bunch more for you. But I just want to give you some examples really quickly, okay? So this is why it's so important to know where is your income as a percentage, or where's your income in relation to these. You don't need to run the math on it and be like, well, my income is, $13,026, and that's, exactly 83.4% of the federal poverty line. Or I don't know, I just made those numbers up. I don't know if that's the real math on that. It'd be crazy if I was right on that. I literally just pulled numbers out of the air. After I get done filming this video, I will calculate the math on that because I'm very curious to see, how close was I? Just with some random numbers that I threw out. But my point is here, okay? You've got to understand where's your income. If your income is below these thresholds, again, $15,060 as an individual or $20,440 as a household of 2, then your eligibility for these programs goes significantly higher, simply because if your income is below those thresholds, that means that you are below the federal poverty line, okay? Anytime that income is below the federal poverty line, first off, that person is then, below the poverty line. The assistance programs that are out there for these individuals in these groups is significantly more, okay? There's a lot more programs and a lot more availability for programs for people that are well below the federal poverty line versus just people that are at like 125% or 135% of the federal poverty line. Then the eligibility really starts to wane at that point, and the availability of these programs is kind of getting less and less at that point. Does that kind of make sense? Okay? And again, remember this as well. I said this at the beginning of the video, and I'll say it again really quickly. Income is income. Doesn't matter if it's income from working full-time, working part-time, working not at all, and getting a fixed income. It could be from SSI. It could be from SSDI. It could be from retirement benefits. It literally does not matter. Income is income. Now, another thing I want to point out really quickly. In some instances, they do also take into consideration other factors that determine your, like your financial status, okay? And by that, I mean, sometimes they look at, hey, how much is your house worth? How much do you have in stocks? How much do you have in a retirement portfolio? How much do you have, from whatever, just other sources of, other income, okay? There's a lot of people out there who are sitting on, huge portfolios and huge stock portfolios and, real estate and stuff like this that have like no income. Okay, well then, if that's the case, you may not be eligible for some of these things, but I don't think that's the case for most people. Just saying really quickly. Does that kind of make sense? So again, I'm going to leave it at that for now, but yeah, these are the numbers for right now. Remember this much as well. These numbers change every year. These are the numbers for 2024, and again, 2025. These numbers will adjust higher, however much, probably a few $100s, but want to bring this to your attention really quickly. Does that help? I hope so, right? Anyway, if you have any comments or questions, feedback down below. Otherwise, subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to share the video with your friends on social media. There's a share button right down below the video as well. Thank you. Otherwise, there's videos that I've linked down below in the description or the top of the comment section. Make sure to check out those, or link down below in the video library as well. Check out those. Thousands of videos there. Or go ahead and watch one of the videos that are popping up on your screen right now. So go ahead and take your selection now. And I'll see you again in just a minute in the next video. Thanks so much. Truly appreciate your support, and I'll catch you again later.